is, what is surrender? Okay. What is the difference between surrender and slavery? Is that question? What is the meaning of surrender and what is slavery? Why the question is coming? Why the question is coming? Because you surrender to some guru and he asked you to do some work. Where is that slavery? Is that what is that question is about? So the question is coming in respect to guru. I surrender to guru and he asked me to do some work. Is it slavery or surrender? Is that question correct? The word surrender you have to understand. What you have to surrender? What is that you have to surrender? Give me some things which you can surrender. Surrender means what you have to give. Surrendering. The word surrender brings us the question. Somebody shoots a gun and shows a gun at you. I'll surrender. Whatever you do to me, I'm okay. You kill me, I'm fine. I can't do anything. I'm surrendered. There's the first thought comes to us, surrender. Right? Surrender means I'm ready to accept whatever you do to me. What do you mean by that? Whether I'm alive or dead, whatever you do to me, I'm okay. The surrender is not conditional. Okay, you have to take care of me. All those things not. Anything you do, I'm acceptable to you. Surrender involves a deep amount of trust. Right? Whatever the other person will not damage to me, he'll uplift me, he'll guide me. That trust is required. Otherwise, the surrender cannot happen. So, for example, whatever mother gives, we'll eat without any question because mother will not give poison. The trust is there. Without that trust, we cannot eat whatever she gives. Similarly, if there's a primary trust is not there, surrender is not possible. Now, the trust is right trust or wrong trust, that's a different matter. But trust is very important for surrender. Now, what exactly is surrender? Now, in the context of surrender to Guru. Guru, I told you there are many types of Guru. Father, mother, teacher, school teacher, Acharya, yoga teacher, Bhagavad Gita teacher. There are many gurus. When the guru gives a work, it's understood that it is for your improvement. Some work is given to you. I surrender to guru means I'll do the work with all sincerity. Like a school teacher will give a problem, will solve it. It's given, it is understood it is given for your good. Now the surrender here is with reference to a guru is called Sadguru, is unique, who will show me the path of moksha. Other gurus are, they'll teach me something. There the surrender doesn't come as a very big concept. Because you teach something, I'll give you something. For example, you teach me some yoga, I'll teach you fees, give you fees. Give and take is very clear. Whereas somebody can give you moksha or liberation or show you the path of liberation, which is infinite freedom. What can I give back? Can you give something to somebody which is ultimate liberation, mukti, which is infinite freedom, freedom? Literally, it's not possible because mukti is the ultimate. Anything you do is finite. You cannot give back. Such a guru will not expect anything from you also because he is already mukta. He is already free. What he has expectation from you? What can you do for him? We are like a poor man and you're going to be a billionaire. He has helped you to become improved. So what can you go and give it to billionaire? Oh, some garland or flower. What is that? Nothing you can give. Whatever you give is just a honor, token. Nothing more than that. Then what is the concept of Guru Dakshina? Dakshina means Daksha, you have to be smart. Daksha means smart, being smart. You have to be smart in giving guru. Dakshina means you have to be very smart in giving back to guru. Means it's like not like if I want to go, if I have to give 1,000 rupees to guru, I'll give 500 rupees. This being smart. Being smart means understanding that guru doesn't need anything. Guru has nothing which you can material, physical, spiritual, nothing is needs. Then only he'll become a Sadguru. If he needs something, still he is in the lower plane. He is full of bliss, ananda. For a person who is an ananda, what can you give? For a ocean, how much water you can add? It's impossible to give. Then what is Guru Dakshina? Being smart in giving back to Guru. What is being back to Guru? First, if you understand what teaching is and your life is improved, what Guru has given is sarthaka, is useful. At least that minimum you have to do. Right? Understand, realize the truth. That is giving back to Guru. Guru is giving with the hope that this person will improve or this person will get liberated. So minimum you have to do is understand the truth and be free. That's the minimum Guru Dakshina. Guru is, when Guru's base service, and he has a purpose. Purpose is focus on your health, your improvement. So then more than what is the Guru Dakshina I can give? I'll do Guru Puja every day. Put photo and put flower and do puja. Is that Guru Dakshina? Guru Dakshina means whatever jnana I have got, I will pass it on the others. That is the Dakshina which is given. So Guru, when he gives jnana to you, he gives with that expectation. He doesn't put a condition that you have to give it to somebody. There's no need. Guru is doing a yadna. Yadna means service, offering. What is the yadna? You have to understand. Yadna means offering back something to the universe. The example of yadna I will tell you. You have grown rice, crop called rice in the field. If you sell everything, then you don't have anything next for the sowing there again. You take the crop, keep 1 kg for next year's season, put that. Then 1 kg will give another crop. So similarly, whatever you get in life, a part of that you have to give to society so that it will grow. Right? Otherwise, what happens? You become greedy and stock accumulated, it will not grow. Giving back to society is yadna. Giving back can be done in 2 ways, dana and yadna. So dana means charity. So a beggar is there. I'll give you 1 rupee. Dana. Okay. A poor person is there. I give you 100 rupees so that he can start a business. That's yadna. Because yadna, whatever you give will grow. Dana, whatever you give, whatever reason it's used, you don't bother. Dana and yadna is different. Dana means give and forget. Yadna means give to grow. You grow by giving. That's yadna. Example is, if somebody is hungry, give him fish is dana. If somebody is hungry, teach him fishing is called yadna. So that he can earn his livelihood and he can also teach others. So what are you doing in your life? Are you doing dana or yadna? That you have to be careful, clear. And we are supposed to do the yadna always. Means we have to be smart in giving. That smartness in giving is called dakshina. Dakshina. Daksha means smart. You heard of daksha? Daksha means smart. You have to give in a way smartly. The smart giving is called yadna. Giving without bothering, what is this thing is called dana. You give 100 rupees to a person, you know that the 100 rupees will grow into 1000 rupees. He doesn't spoil the money. Is yadna. Or the 1000 rupees will be used for some other purpose, good purpose, is called yadna. Somebody gives 100 rupees, he'll drink alcohol and waste it. Then you do dana, forget it. Apatra dana you don't do, means for wrong purpose you don't do. Otherwise you give dana and forget it. Dana is for give and forget. Yadna means give and grow. So dakshina has to be yadna. Dakshina means smart giving. To whom? Guru. How will you give Guru? Whatever teaching your Guru has given, it has to grow in you first. Then you give to others who can take it and grow. So in that process, there's a progressive growth. This is how the Guru Shishya Parampara came. Guru gives to Shishya, Shishya gives to another person. The wisdom is taken. Now Shishya comes and gives Guru the garland, some flower. There's neither dana nor yadna. This is respect. Understand? Respect is different from dakshina. Dakshina means you have to be smart in giving. That means you take and give to others so that it grows. Yadna, dana should grow so that more and more people in society should perform. More and more people should be benefiting. That's why Guru is giving to you. Otherwise, what is the purpose for him to give? Teaching is not a simple thing. Teaching requires a lot of time, effort. Okay, and bringing up a shishya is a lot of effort. All of you have been mothers and parents. He is bringing up a child easy. It takes 10 years, 20 years of struggle. For Guru, every shishya is child. He will take him to a maturity level, which is a lot of effort. Many times sleepless nights, many times effort is involved. In fact, more than the mother, a Guru takes care of the child. Now, why does he take care of the child? Mother takes care of the child, it's because my child. Guru has no concept of mine. His my shishya has no concept. If there's a my shishya concept, then the Guru is not a Guru, because it's the my and me has come. For Guru, the entire offering is done as yadna to the universe. Shishya is just a means. So Guru is involved in Gnana Yadna. Gnana Yadna is an offering to the universe. Shishya is just a means. Like when you put in Yadna, the ghee, Agne Swaha, Idam Namama, the ghee is the means we are putting. Idam Nama is not mine. You are offering Agni as a symbol. Similarly, for Guru, Shishya is just a means to offer to the universe. What he first? The Gnana which is he has got, wisdom, he wants to offer to the universe because ultimately Gnana alone can save people. Gnana alone can help people. So that's why giving back to the Guru means really giving Guru Dakshina. Guru Dakshina is not money, not flower, not garland, not puja, not even one good word, not even thanks, doesn't matter. You cannot give anything to Guru. For who is Brahmadnani, who is in bliss. Maybe he may be a poverty, he may be poor and all. Some material thing you can give away, maybe some dress or something, but that's nothing for him. For a Brahmadnani, all these things are irrelevant. What is only relevant is participate in Gnana Yadna. Take the teaching, it gives to you. If you can't take the teaching, participate in Gnana Yadna, so Gnana Yadna grows. It can be Tanu, Mana, Dhana, whatever is possible for Gnana Yadna. There's nothing to do personal with Guru. Teaching is a Gnana Yadna. By participating in Gnana, or you learn and you teach, that's also okay. No, you help to teach, that's also okay. So these are all Gnana Yadna. This is why Guru to give. Now, why Guru teaches? To become famous, to become big Guru, to build big ashram. Then he is not a Guru in that sense. The Guru's teaching is just an offering of gratitude to the universe. So that's why Guru has zero expectation from Shishya. If Guru has expectation from Shishya, he is not a Guru in that sense. Understand? Absolutely no expectation. Then, for giving back to Guru, you have to be smart. That's called Dakshina. Smart giving is called Dakshina. So smart giving for somebody who doesn't need it, then how do you use to smart? That's how. See, you have to give somebody who needs it. Then you can give whatever is there. For somebody who doesn't need anything, how do you give smartly is called dakshina. You understand dakshina? Dakshina word itself is very meaningful. You understand? So to give somebody, if somebody needs it, you give it, it's useful. But somebody doesn't need it, and still you have to give, then you have to be smart in giving. There's a story I've heard. The scouts, children who go to scout now. Children who go to scout. For they have to do one good job every day. Every day morning they have to write in diary, I have done a good job. In the book, that good book or something like that. So one student comes and says, I have done a good job. What is that? I helped a lady to get into the bus. What is that? What is good about it? Sir, that lady doesn't want to get into the bus. I am putting her into the bus. So that's a good job. So that's why everywhere you have heard Guru Dakshina has to be given. Huh? So you have heard Guru Dakshina has to be given. You understand? Listen carefully. You have heard that Guru Dakshina has to be given. So Guru doesn't need anything. I have to give Guru Dakshina. Please go and take some money, land, some duddu, some dress, take it to Guru. Guru doesn't know what to do with that. So you are not smart in giving. What can you give to Guru? Nothing. So to give something to one who expects nothing is called smartness. That's called dakshina. And that is called Gnana Yajna. Now you understood Guru Dakshina? Huh? Grasp aita? Dakshina aita? Huh? See, you can give something if you can use it and needs it. Right? Then it's useful. So if you go to a rich man and give 1,000 rupees, what is the use of him? Huh? No, I have to give you. Please take it. So, it's like putting dead lady into bus. So I'm grateful to Guru. I have to give something Guru Dakshina, take money and give, some dress and give, or some cloth or garland. And you are giving to somebody who doesn't need it. Then you're not smart. Are you understand? The smart word is called dakshina. How you can be smart? You have to give to somebody who doesn't need it. In a way, it's meaningful to you. That's called dakshina. Are you clear? So then the dakshina comes in the form of participating in Gnana Yajna, and you can contribute to Gnana Yajna by first yourself learning and give to us passing on. That means that Gnana Parampara will continue. That's how Guru Shishya Parampara came. Are you clear? So now, surrendering to Guru means doing his service. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena parisevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninaha tattvadashinaha. So if you want gnana, you have to go to Guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena, first surrender. Surrender means do namaskara, fall at feet. Pariprashnena, ask questions. And parisevaya, service. Upadekshanti te gnam, then they will get a clarity. Atmadnana is clarity. Atmadnana doesn't not magic. Clarity in whatever they teach, highest form of clarity is called gnana. That highest form of clarity from the Guru is called grace. Because anything else will confuse you. Even little bit wrong understanding of spirituality confuses you. The grace of the Guru comes in for clarity. Okay. Now, there are two words here. Pariseva, pranipatena. Pranipatena is surrender. How do you surrender to Guru? Parisevaya, by doing service to the Guru. Oh, I'll do service to the Guru. I'll take care of kitchen work. I'll take care of this thing. Or I'll do press the legs of Guru. My dear, Guru doesn't need any of this. Understand? So pariseva means participate in yajna, what he does, and do service. The service is not to the Guru, but to service to the society. Because Guru is everything. When you give one piece of bread to somebody, you are giving it to Guru. Piece of bread to one to needy person, you are a Guru. We are giving to Guru. Because Guru is in all the forms, all animals, all living beings. That's why Guru is Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tat Padam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So service to the Guru means service to the world. That's why Atmano Mokshartam Jagaditaya. Jagaditaya means service. When you do service to the world, you are doing service to Guru, because Guru is the whole world. He's not a person. So Parisevaya means doing service, not to a person, but to the world. Surrender means what? Pranipatena. I have to surrender to Guru. What do you mean by surrender to Guru? What can you surrender to Guru? There's a teaching. There's a story. Story of Ashtavakra and Janakaraja. Janakaraja has met many gurus. Janakaraja was a very wise king. He used to have always many gurus, many people come and teach. Then one day he finds Ashtavakra is a great master. He goes and says, Ashtavakra, Maharaj, I have heard that Atmadnana is very simple. Okay? You can get Atmadnana in the time you can climb on a horseback. Put one leg and climb other side. That is the time required for Atmadnana. Atmadnana is required that much only. To understand you are the Atma, how much time is required? Please give me Atmadnana. So I have heard so many people, I have not got it. Then Ashtavakra says, if I have to give Atmadnana, you have to give me Guru Dakshina. This is the Guru Dakshina clarity person. If I have to give Atmadnana, you have to Guru Dakshina. Tomorrow, if I give Atmadnana, you say, you are Brahman, I am Brahman, everything is Brahman, nothing to give, and you will go back. So now Guru Dakshina give it first itself. Right? Then after I will give Atmadnana, you will get Brahmadnana. Then you say, I am Brahman, you are Brahman. I don't have anything to give. Your money is also Brahman. So I don't have anything to give to you. So give me something which now, before I give Atmadana, Dakshina, you have to upfront fees. So Janakaraja says, I'll give you my kingdom. Please take it. Entire kingdom. I'm ready to give my kingdom. Ashtavakra says, laughs. The kingdom doesn't belong to you. Kingdom belongs to people. How can you give you the kingdom? Then Janakaraja says, I'll become your servant. This is servant concept. I'll become your servant. Ashtavakra says, what did you do with servant? I don't need any servants. For my maintaining myself is a problem, and I'll maintain servant. They are becoming a load for me. I'll take care of your ashram. My ashram is so small, I don't need anybody to become servant. And first of all, you cannot become a servant because you are servant of people already. A king is a servant of people. How can you become my servant? Even if I make a servant, I don't have anything to offer to you. My needs are very minimum. So, servant is ruled out. Then Janakaraja says, I'll give you a lot of money. I have a lot of money. Ashtavakra says, what do you do with money? I don't even know how to spend. My needs are very minimal. And having money is a headache. And to say you will give money, it's false, because money doesn't belong to you. Money is collected from tax from people. It has to be given back to people. Then Janakaraja says, please allow me to do your service. This body mind is dedicated to you. And Ashtavakra laughs. The body and mind doesn't belong to you. It becomes nature. Body belongs to Panchabhutas. How can you give body and mind as a service offering to me? Then suddenly strikes to Janakaraja. I have nothing to give because nothing belongs to me. Only thing I have belongs to me is ignorance. My foolishness I am offering to you. That is a surrender. So that is a surrender to Guru. The only thing you can surrender to Guru is your foolishness. Ego. Foolishness, ego. In return, you'll get jnana. So once you understand that I don't know, okay, and I don't have the ability to know what is not knowable. Now when you say your Atma is just a word for you, it is not reality. So jnana is what I seek. I'm ready to surrender my ignorance, foolishness. It's called surrender. For surrender, you may do some service in the ashram or somewhere, right? Typically people do. In the earlier days, a Shishya goes to Guru's ashram, He'll participate in yajna. He'll bring fetch wood from forest or bring water and do some service. So that service was given to a shishya earlier as a karma yoga, a service which will purify him. It's not because guru needs it. Guru has no need for karma yoga. What is the need for guru for karma yoga? You bring food or this thing, it doesn't matter. So the entire Gurukula system earlier days was designed for karma yoga. You work there not as a labor, not as a slave. Work there to learn to do action without expectation, without attachment. The Shishyas earlier days, they have to go and beg for food. Bhikshandehi, Bodhi Bhikshandehi. The idea is to learn humility. The Gurukula system, the first teaching of Gurukula system is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means selfless service. I am doing service and putting it yadna because that will help many other students to learn something here. They're serving the community of students. So anything you service is to help the community or seekers to grow, is service. Guru doesn't need anything personally. Karma Yoga was taught as a first principle in life. Now it is Karma Yoga has become so rare. I have to do Karma Yoga. Why? Jnana is very simple. Karma Yoga is a very basic way of living that was taught earlier. Service for the sake of the community. That's an offering to Guru. Pariseva means that. Pariseva doesn't mean anything personal to Guru. Because Guru is not a person. But if Guru is a person, he is body conscious, he will expect a personal seva. That means he is a lower level Guru. Depends on where he is. If he is a Brahmatnani, he is not the body. What do you expect? He is already full, he is fulfilled. Now what will happen? By misfortune or unfortune, we get into Gurus who are lower level. Their expectations are endless. One of the students I know doing PhD in one of the universities. She is working under a guide. The guide expects the two students to come and cook in the hood, cook food in the house, bring vegetables, bring grocery, and pay the grocery bill from his pocket. Where is PhD and where is student? The PhD is research. There's nothing to do with that. But he is explaining personal work to be done. That's not a real PhD guide.
To be a guide.
No, to be the guide means student has already got into guide. Now to get out of him is he can't complete his PhD thesis without doing all this. 4 or 5 years of torture. That they're all not gurus in that sense. They're all very selfish things getting done to somebody else. To call them as a guru or Sadguru or realized master is very false understanding. A real Sadguru master doesn't need anything. And if at all he expects you something to do for your own benefit, your own uddhara, do this service so that you purify. So the criteria of the service is you do it, you will benefit. If you don't do it, he will not bother. If you don't do it, he is bothered. That means he is not still has attachment to you. The Sadguru will give the work to you, expects you to learn. The purpose of Sadguru giving the work to you, not that he has to grow his ashram, not to has to grow that he grows more students. It's given to you so that you will use that opportunity to purify yourself. How do you purify yourself? First thing is when work is given to you, you have to do with such a seriousness and thoroughness. Your concentration should be always there, full 100%. So that your concentration improves. When your concentration improves, your other vasanas will come down. Work is a primary thing for reducing your vasanas. Because all our work is selfish. So when we work with interest, only when under a condition that what is in it for me? Right? Anything you do, I need something return. Otherwise, who will do anything? There's something called, there are no free lunches in the world. Have you heard of this? Nobody give you anything free. Correct? Nothing is freely available. So that means you have to work for it. Isn't it? When Sadguru gives the work to you, the work is given to you for your own improvement, purification. You will do work. All your life you have been trained. There are no free lunches in life. Right? Anything I do, I'll have to pay for it. True? So Sadguru is teaching you work free of without expectation. Your whole process of thinking has to be reversed. I'll only work for benefit. Now it's gone. And if you do karma yoga, there's no benefit. Nobody will come and appreciate you. Nobody will give a garland to you and you are a great karma yogi. No claps, no appreciation newsletters, no money, no salary. Oh, am I becoming slave? A guru doesn't need a slave also. The guru doesn't need that also. Then why are you doing something? So your motivation has to change. The motivation is by doing this work, my entire concentration goes here. That means I'll be sharply focused. The entire purpose of karma yoga is to develop your concentration sharply, so sharp that your mind doesn't waver. Right now, your mind is shaky. Right now, your mind is running here and there. The karma yoga is a puja. Karma yoga is a dhyana, meditation in action. A sharp, focused mind is the result of karma yoga. When will you be mind focused? Please tell me. When will you be mind sharp and focused? When this interest is very high. If I do this business, I get 1 crore. Very focused. Interest is money. All right. If I do this, I'll be very successful in life. Interest is focus. Or if I do this, I'll be very famous. Very focused interest. Others interest is not there. Correct? Interest will not go. The other situation there. If you do this, if you don't do this, I'll shoot you. And you have to do properly. Then you are very careful. Fear. You are very careful. You'll do it well. Now you come to decision. If you do this, I'll not give you anything. If you do this, you'll not gain anything. Okay? Right? There's no appreciation. There's no afraid of. If you don't do it, it's okay, it's up to you. There's no fear. Then still you do it. You do it well. Then it becomes karma yoga. No motivation, but I'll do it. Then why do you do it well? Is the question. If there's no motivation for you, and Guru doesn't come and do garland you, nobody comes and garlands you, nobody gives appreciation to you, nobody gives money, then still why you will do? You will do it because in the process you will improve yourself. The focus is improving myself, purification of myself. I'll purify myself to such an extent that my all vasanas and karmas are burnt. Karma yoga is a process of burning your vasanas, impressions. That's why I'll do. Not because Guru wants it. If Guru wants it, then he's not a Guru. If Guru has the expectation of some personal work, he's not a Guru. Guru, if they have federally give some work, it's for your benefit, for your purification. So you have to be clear, by doing this work, I'm becoming pure. How pure? First and foremost important aspect of karma yoga is my mind will become sharp like a bullet. Have you heard the story of Vivekananda? Swami Vivekananda? Vivekananda had gone to Chicago. Chicago, there was the Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is in USA-Canada border. He had gone there. So there, there was one, this thing was going on. They throw an egg and shoot the egg. Shoot the egg. Throw the egg and shoot the egg. It's like a fun. Somebody throws the egg into Niagara Falls and shoots it, the gun. Vivekananda is watching it, many children playing. It's not easy to shoot a egg which is falling. Right? Vivekananda, this guy had a weird dress. A monk, Indian monk, has a very special dress. The children start laughing at this, making mockery of this person. Then one man said, "Can you shoot this? Try shooting one. I'll give you 10. Vivekananda has never held a gun in his hand. He said, "Let me try." He takes the gun and he shoots all the 10 eggs. Not a single miss. That is the power of concentration. Focus. And where did he get it? By shooting the Kisinote. But Vivekananda developed the focus because of service. He says his focus is very clear. What is the focus of Vivekananda? India as a country has to arise, awake. For that, I have to take the message of Ramakrishna Paramahansa and spread in the world. The focus is very clear. The concentration is clear. The meditation is clear. That is the power a yogi develops. Siddhi. It's called Siddhi. Siddhi is not flying in the sky, is not Siddhi. Flying in the sky, birds can fly. Walking on the ground is Siddhi. Being peaceful is the Siddhi. Doing the work with complete focus and sharpness is Siddhi. Karma Yoga Siddhi. A real Karma Yogi is able to focus continuously and without getting at. His mind is very sharply focused on the task. In that process, all karmas will get burnt. All vasanas will get burnt. The example for that, I mean, type of work Karma Yogi does. Arjuna takes a Arjuna, that Draupadi Swayamvara, right? He has to shoot an arrow. The fish, Matsya Yantra, fish is rotating above. The eye of the fish is so small. He has to look into a reflection below and shoot the arrow. The eyes of the fish. How much concentration is required? A Karma Yogi develops that type of sharp concentration. And without reward, without punishment, out of own free will, not because Guru expects him. But he says his Guru service. Guru doesn't require service. That's why his Dakshare. Guru doesn't require. Why should Guru give a headache of taking some work from you? So Guru doesn't require. So this is Dakshare. Dakshare is smartness. I'm doing something for Guru who doesn't expect anything. I'm doing something for myself without expectation. Then why I'm doing? I'm purifying myself. Then I keep a goal of serving the world. Then we'll come back and say, what is the world serving now? World will improve it because of you, or you're a big Kumbhakai. I mean, you're a big, how will you improve the world? You cannot improve the Rama could not improve the world, Krishna could not improve the world. Anybody comes to improve, cannot improve the world. Then if you think that you are doing service to improve the world, then also you're illusion. Improve the world also is not serving. World is like a gymnasium for you. Gym you go, lift 50 kgs, weight increase. 100 kgs, muscle strength increase. So the concentration will increase when you serve the world. World is a gymnasium, right? If you run on the treadmill will not improve, but your muscle will improve. So the world is there for you to improve your sharpness of the mind. Shama, Dama, Tidisha, Uparti, Shraddha, Samadhana, Mumukshvatva has to be improved. That means your inner quality, how to develop. For that, world is a playground for you. You have illusion that I will improve the world, I will change the world, transform the world, then you are they're full. Nobody can transform the world. It's like that. That means going to gym and I'll improve the weighing machine or this thing. But you need to focus. With this focus, by teaching people, some people will get better, some people will not. Then if you have focus that, oh, this is what I'll do. See, there are always people who will need something, you give it. So in the process, what will happen? You have done yadna, service. You are taking the teaching of Guru and given to the world. Does Guru need that yadna? No. Does that Guru need that service? No. Does the world need that service? They don't know. Right? And do you get any benefit? No. But still, you are being smart. In the process of doing something, you have improved yourself. That's called Guru Dakshina. Are you smart in doing Karma Yoga? Is a question. Smartness in Karma Yoga means I appear as if I am doing service to Guru. Guru doesn't need service. I appear as if I am improving the world. World does not improve. Okay? But still, I am doing some good work. Some people will get benefit. Those who are destined to get benefit will get it. In the process, at least I am getting purified.
BMI will be purified.
This BMI will be purified. That is called smartness. Huh? Understand? You mean real meaning of Dakshina? Dakshina means smartness in giving. How can you give somebody who doesn't need anything? How can you improve the world which cannot improve?
Nothing that anyone individual is giving from her, his or her knowledge. From Guru's knowledge, what we are taking,
so that's the meaning of Karayaniru. What you got from what lake, you offer it to God and say thankful to God. So why you are thankful? Water doesn't belong to you. God doesn't need water, but you are showing your gratitude in the process. That in the process, your gratitude increases, you will become pure. And you do puja every day. You put some flower to God, you have to put fruit. What your flowers will do? What your fruits will do? He doesn't need anything. But your flower you didn't make, fruit you didn't make. You take fruit which is made by God, flower you made by God, and you offer to God. God doesn't need anything. But what you are doing is, in the process of offering, you are showing your gratitude. In the gratitude, your heart will improve. So, service to the guru is not slavery. If guru is expecting slavery, he is not a guru. Service to the guru is for improving the quality called Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparadi, Shraddha, Samadhana in you. No. Shama, Dama, okay, this is what is service is clear. What is service and slavery? First differentiate. Okay, ask. Now, what is a discrimination? Discrimination means anything in life you need discrimination. Without discrimination, our mind is, our life is gone. Correct? Without discrimination, our life is a mess. Suppose you want to go to any city. You want to go by bus or car or auto, you have to discriminate. When you want to cook food, today morning I want to, idli I have to make or dosa I have to make. You have to use discrimination. Intelligence has to be applied properly. Right? Otherwise, whatever you do, you use the discrimination. For example, this dress, wear this yellow dress or pink dress. Oh, if I go to party, I should wear a sari or I should wear a kurta. Discrimination is applying everywhere. If you don't apply discrimination, what will happen? You are going to a marriage party and you are going in Bermuda. Indiscriminate. Can you do that? Discrimination is applying our intellect properly for what is to be done. Right? If you are indiscriminate, whatever you do, will go out. Waste. So when you're doing service, you have to be very, very discrimination. What is this? What I'm doing? How best it can help me and how best it can help the world. Right? If you're not discriminate, what will happen? You do something. Neither you will be helped nor somebody else will be helped. It's not that you are helping somebody, but it has to have focus. Without focus, whatever you do is okay. So I want to do service to Guru. I'll write Guru in a notebook. Guru, you are great. Guru, you are great. Fine. Guru doesn't become great because you wrote in notebook. Right? And it doesn't benefit anybody. Your notebook is used, finished. Are you using a place of discrimination? That time, if you go and give the teaching of Guru to somebody, at least one person, somebody gets benefit. That's the Guru action. That's being discrimination. Right? Discrimination is when you do some work, you should not get attached to the result, but you should be focused on the result. There's a difference. Attachment and focus were missing. So if let us a student is studying for IIT, you'll come and tell him Bhagavad Gita. You don't get attached to result. Don't need to worry. Don't worry about marks. Then he cannot study. So he should be very clear that I want to get 100 marks. Focus should be very clear. And his work should be proper, focused. Then he should not be attached to result, because result is not under his control. Whether he will get the right paper or wrong paper, whether he will get 100 marks or 99 marks, he is not under control. Don't get attached. Tomorrow you fail. If you fail, you go and commit suicide. Don't do that. Don't get attached to result. So Bhagavad Gita says, don't get attached to results, but focus on the work. Your focus should be that 100% you are there. Your head, heart, and hands are completely 100% focused. That 100% focus in action is called meditation. Meditation in action is called Karma Yoga. Right? Now, if you don't apply discrimination, whatever happens, it will happen in life. Then you are not, whatever you are doing, there's no focus at all. You'll do anything what you want. Then where you are going? Where's your life? It is a mess. There is a story in this thing, Wonderla. What is it? Alice in the Wonderla. Alice, a girl, gets trapped in a magical city. There, every road speaks and every tree speaks. See, Alice is going and there are 3 roads. She doesn't know where to go. Then tree asks, Alice, where you want to go? Alice says, I don't know, because I'm in Wonderland. Then the tree says, if you don't know, you'll anywhere you go. So what will happen if you don't know where you want to go? You'll go helter skelter here, there, and ultimately nothing will come out of it.
This is what they've been doing in many janmas.
Then I don't know about that.
That's the thing.
I don't know about that. I'm saying we should be always focused on what we do, and we should have good intention that will benefit people, and we should do all constant effort to do that. Whether it will benefit people, that's not under control. It's Bhagwan's grace. but we should do it with good intention, with complete focus. Success and failure, we should not be bothered. How can it be success and failure if we are not bothered? How can I live? If it fails, how can I do? I'm doing service now. God has to make sure it's successful only. That won't work. Anything we do, there is a success or failure. But you will, in any case, success or failure, you will win. Head or toss, you will win the game. Why? If you say success, then you say, oh, this way I do, this will benefit people. Let me improve on this. Failure is there. Oh, this way people are not benefited. Let me improve on this. Success and failure is for learning for you and improving yourself. Then head or tail, you'll win. Others will say, head only I'll win, tail I'll lose. So your attitude of accepting success and failure in life will go. Your attitude of success and failure is, it is a learning for me. Right? Now, every situation you're turning into your advantage. Every situation is learning. Always win. You're not lose. That's why it said, Karma Yogi never loses in life. Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, one promise he makes. Karma Yogi is always successful in life. Now, the success means, for us, success means, if I study examination, Bhagavan has promised, if I study well, I'll get 100 marks only. Then you are becoming Karma Yogi, because you get 99 marks, you'll commit suicide. Karma Yogi means, I want to get 100 marks. I'll focus on 100 marks. I'll do my best for 100 marks. I'll pray to God. Still I pray to God, because to give me the strength to write the exam properly. And if I write the exam, I got 50 marks. I failed because of question paper, because of money. Then I'll accept, I'll respect God. Oh, okay, this is learning for me. Then I'll improve myself. Now, success or failure has become your improvement. That's why you're successful in life. Sri Krishna doesn't guarantee success in life. Sri Krishna guarantees successful life. For us, the God is there only ATM machine. God, I'm doing a writing examination. Please make sure that I'll get 100 marks. You are dictating outcome. God is saying, focus on your improvement, inner improvement, learning, your Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Upardi, Shraddha, Samadhana. Be 100% focused, 100% committed, 100% work you do, but don't get 0% attachment to results. Successful, good or bad, learn from it, improve it. Every day you keep on improving constantly. Now, one person who does that, he will become very good in whatever he does. Who does not know failure at all? And any difficulty comes in life, this is an advantage. It's a good question paper set by God. Why? Because more the difficulty, more my challenge. More my challenge, more my focus. More I'll become successful. Right? More is more noise will come here. Oh, I didn't do this. More sharpness. So every situation in life is for your improvement. When you do Karma Yoga, there's no failure at all. There's no sadness at all. There's only clarity and focus. That's Karma Yoga. There's a story in Mahabharata, Ramayana. There's a guy called Valmiki. Valmiki has a special necklace. Sugriva, Vali. So Vali has a special necklace. The necklace, when he wears and goes to war, anybody coming in front of him, half the power will go. A Karma Yogi has a necklace, special necklace. Any difficulty in that, he'll convert into opportunity to learn. Huh? He is the unstoppable force in the universe. That unstoppable force is what Guru creates, Sadguru. A force which cannot be stopped by anything. Any challenge is opportunity. Any obstacle, he'll find a way to learn. Any obstacle, he'll learn to climb. That constant clarity and focus is Karma Yoga. And that's what Guru teaches. Because he doesn't need it. Guru is not needed. He is giving it to you for that you will get benefit. In the process, some people may get benefit. If you don't do it, it doesn't matter. He'll give it to somebody else. So Guru has no attachment to you. Guru has no attachment to work. But Guru has a desire that some people will benefit. Where is the slavery here? For whom you are doing slavery? No. There's nothing personal about Karma Yoga. There's nothing personal about for Guru. So this is the surrender. In the process of surrender, you're surrendering your ego. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, Moha, Lava, all your negativity you are surrendering in the fire of karma. Karma yoga is the fire which burns your all negative tendencies. If you are sharp and focused like a Olympic gold medalist, that's success in life. You don't have a chance to run for Olympics, right? Where is the chance for Olympics? You know how difficult it is to win the Olympics gold medal? A person to run the Olympics gold medal, he has to practice for 10 years, day in and day out. They don't take food also properly because they need to exact weight they have to maintain. They get up in the morning and run. P.T. Usha, or Olympics runner, she used to run with 5 kgs of sand bag on her back in seashore. Difficult. But that training she did for 5 years before she could win the medal, gold medal in the Olympics. The medal in the Olympics, half a second this way, you'll go lose. Okay. A karma yogi is like that. He takes the load and he builds his muscle and does work without expectation. Guru does not need it. World may or may not need it, but he says, this is an opportunity to improve myself and burn my kama, krodha, mada, matsara, moha, lobha. I have a opportunity to participate. That is the blessing. Understood? In reality, Guru does not need anything. He has a Brahmadnani, he has no need. But he creates enough work. He works very hard to create work for all the people so that they can do some service and benefit themselves. In fact, a Gnani Guru, he'll work so hard to create work for many people so that he says, you get benefit of this. His work is not for his benefit, not to become famous. You build a temple. In earlier days, the people used to build a temple, knowing very well the temple is not required for God. You know that? God does not require a temple. What is the need for God, a temple? The temple was built so that in and around a cultural activity picks up in the temple. Okay? People get an opportunity to do some service. The temple is a place for people to come and serve and purify themselves, not for God. Do you know that? Guru creates work for a lot of people so that they do something and purify themselves. Guru doesn't need work. Guru has no need of work. He has nothing personal and he is full. For him, you cannot give any dakshina. Then where is the question of slavery? Where is the question of a guru, real guru is not bothered you are doing work or not. Because he has nothing to do that. He gives you work and forgets it because it's up to you. How fast, how much sharp and how much focus you do. Very clear? See, you have heard of a Jain Tirthankar, right? Have you heard of Tirthankar? Mahavir Jain Tirthankar. Tirthankar, right? You know what is Tirthankar means? Tirtha means something which purifies you. It purifies you. Okay? Tirtha means purified. So, our Tirtha is Ganga is a Tirtha, Yamuna is a Tirtha, and Saraswati is a Tirtha, where you go and take a bath and you be purified. So, if you dip in Ganga for one time, you will be purified. That's what people have been told. But real meaning of that is not that. Tirtham karoti tirthankaram. Tirtham. And that means if you go to a holy place like river, Ganga, near that place, some Gnanis will be there. So you go to take a dip and go to take Gnana from them. Gnana Ganga you take and come back. Then you will be purified. The purpose is, river is the way, but Gnani is the path, destination. In earlier days, it was possible. So if you go to a holy place, it will take you years of journey. Then you will not come immediately. You will take a bath, then you will go to some ashram, nearby ashram is there. There some person is there, he will give teaching, you listen to teaching, you get purified and come back. Nowadays, it's a package tour. Go in a helicopter, get down into a river and get back in the helicopter and come back. So there's no concept and you got purified. You think you got purified. Purification is not Tirtha, purification is Tirthankara who is sitting there. One who purifies Gnani. So you don't even know. Right?
Special darshan.
Special darshan. So Tirthankara means one who purifies. Now Mahavir Jain is called Tirthankara because he built systems, teachings where anybody can come and purify themselves. A householder, a monk, a system practices. By each householder, a monk, anybody can purify themselves. A Gnani builds systems and practices for people to come and purify themselves. That's why a Gnani is a Tirthakara. For he doesn't do anything for himself. He creates the Tirtha. Tirtha is not a physical place. Tirtha is a system by which people can purify. A system of Karma Yoga, system of Kriya Yoga, where people can come and purify themselves. And a Tirthanga person becomes a Tirthakara if he creates a Tirtha for children, youth, married people, sannyasi, for all caste and community. You just said caste and community, somebody comes and participates and purifies themselves. This is Tirthakara. As systems which are built for the whole society makes somebody called Tirthankara. So Gnani creates a Tirtha. And who is a Tirtha? It doesn't bother. It's like Ganga is purifying. Somebody comes and takes a bath in Ganga, somebody takes Tirtha, somebody washes clothes, somebody comes and pisses in Ganga. Ganga is not bothered. So like that, Gnani creates a Tirtha and leaves it to people. Now, Karma Yoga is for you to use the Tirtha, purify yourself and help others also. So where is the slavery? There's no personal at all here. Are we clear? Any questions? Small question, big answer. Anybody else has a question on this Zoom? Vani?
Brilliant answer, Prabhuji.
Did you know meaning of Dakshina? Huh?
Today I got to know in great detail so many things.
Dakshina means smart way of giving for somebody who doesn't need it.
Oh, the smart way of giving was super this thing, Prabhuji.
You tell me in which spiritual literature this is written.
Nowhere.
Huh?
Nowhere, Prabhuji.
I'm writing exact, I'm telling the exact meaning of Guru Dakshina.
Yes. Today I understood. Really smart, Prabhuji.
Really smart. What? Guru Dakshina is smart or Prabhuji is smart?
Both.
Okay. Anybody any questions? Yes. Is this question clear? We'll stop this.